Hi, my name is Jax. Welcome to the first edition of Blind Man's Grub. What we're going to be doing today is actually a cooking experiment involving red potatoes. Originally this recipe is a potato chicken bake that requires you to have one whole chicken cut in half, one of the little whole ones. Me and my girlfriend have corrupted it down to just be chicken breasts and potatoes, and today we're going to further take it down to just be the potatoes. What we're going to be doing is preparing for Thanksgiving. It's a little early, I know, but got to make sure this will work. A few months ago, my girlfriend's parents sent us home with this piece of Tupperware, and I don't want to return it to them empty. And what we're doing is we're going to cook the potatoes the same way we bake them and put them in the fridge overnight and see if they'll keep. We've never really had leftovers from this particular meal, so we don't know if it'll work. If it'll work, we're going to bring a bunch of these herbal baked potatoes. And further ingredients we're going to need and equipment. We're going to need olive oil, basil and oregano, as you see right there, fresh ground pepper. I like to use sea salt in this. It just works better when cooking with potatoes. They tend to absorb and do away with salt. Then the equipment we're going to need: a cutting board and a butcher knife. This one's actually probably a tomato knife, but my other ones aren't sharp enough for this right now. A bowl. It doesn't really have to be metal, just needs to have deep sides. And a cooking dish. I prefer Pyrex due to heat convection, and it'll also cook faster because the light rays are able to pierce the Pyrex where they can't pierce a metal bottom bowl. We want our oven preheated to 375. We've already taken care of that. And the first thing we need to do is take these potatoes and we're going to thoroughly wash them. I'm just going to set these over here on the cutting board. As you can see, I've cut the potatoes into wedges. Generally, you'll be doing this with 4 potatoes and 1 chicken breast, or 2 chicken breasts, depending on how many people you're making this for. But again, we're just doing this with potatoes. Next step we need to do, I've tested to see if they're going to fit inside the cooking area, and they do. I'm going to pour a little bit of olive oil into this bowl. That should probably be plenty. There's not really a measure for this. You need enough so you can coat the potatoes and the chicken. And we'll probably be doing a later rendition showing you how to do this full recipe. I'm just dumping all the potatoes in here at once because there aren't really that many this go around. And what you're going to do is take your hand and thoroughly swish it around, get the oil coated on all the potatoes. Then you're going to start lining the potatoes up inside the cooking dish. I find that it's usually best to go around the outer edge and then start filling the center. This next idea I've kind of borrowed from Alton Brown, having little bowls to put your spices in. At least the ones you don't want too much of. You might think that's a lot of salt, but when it comes to potatoes, that's not going to be a lot. Most of that's going to disappear in the cooking process and go into flavor. And we're going to crack the pepper over them. Plenty of pepper. Now we're going to add a little bit of oregano. And this part you kind of do to your own personal taste. If you like a lot of spices, put a lot. If you don't, then lightly coat them. We happen to really love basil and oregano, so we like to heavily coat. Okay. Our next step, of course, is to grab an oven mitt, open the oven, and we like to put it on the kind of the middle rack. This whole process will probably take about an hour. So we're going to use the timer function on our microwave to set a timer for an hour. And we'll be back to see the results. Here we are with the finished product. As you might be able to hear the sizzling, this is still very hot. What we're going to do real quick is test it. We're going to probably need a fork to make sure it's all cooked. What we're looking for here is how easily the fork pierces the potato. And it's piercing pretty easily. So these are done. We're going to let that cool off a little bit and then give it a taste test, and then I'm going to package it up and stick it in the fridge. Here we are where we're going to store the potatoes. And we've got our taste test piece. Let's see what it tastes like. Gotta say, that came out pretty good. Now for the rest of the experiment, we're just gonna cover the dish with this lid, stick it in the fridge, and see what it's like tomorrow. I'll be making a separate video to let you know how that worked out. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Keep in mind the video may not be posted early on. I've got a birthday party to go to, but for a 4-year-old turning 5. So this ought to be fun.